Some good news out of the Labor Department. Unemployment numbers are down this week. New seasonally adjusted initial claims dropped to 473,000 for the week ending on May 8th. Today's report also reflects a decrease of 34,000 from the previous week. This marks the lowest level of initial jobless claims since March of 2020, and it could point to potential rebounds in more sectors of the U.S. economy as coronavirus pandemic restrictions continue to ease.
Republicans say they will oppose any effort to raise taxes following a meeting with President Biden and congressional leaders about infrastructure spending. The president is aiming to overhaul the tax system to provide the IRS with additional resources to combat tax evasion. In an op-ed in the Washington Post, 5 former IRS commissioners say Mr. Biden's proposal would help create a fairer tax system and are urging the government to provide aid to the struggling agency. For more on this, let's bring in former IRS Commissioner Fred Goldberg. He's also the former Treasury Assistant Secretary for Tax Policy and was one of the writers of that op-ed. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. So this op-ed written by you and other former commissioners outlines the difficulties of administering the tax system and how budget cuts have diminished the IRS's workforce. Talk to us about those challenges when it comes to resources and how they've evolved in recent years, especially since the coronavirus pandemic began.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here. The COVID has had an enormous effect on all of us as individuals. Certainly has had a massive effect on the IRS. The reality is the IRS is buried in work, and the context for that is important. First, over the last decade, it's lost 20,000 employees, while its job has expanded dramatically. Second, it's been charged with administering the EIP program. It has done a terrific job of getting money to those entitled to payments. Now it is charged with administering the child tax credit, which, if made permanent, would reduce child poverty by 50%. And their initial task, above all, is to get the resources and time to dig out of that hole, because that's where they are.
So the Biden administration introduced these, tax compliance initiatives, right? They want to diminish the gap between the taxes owed and the taxes actually paid. And the Treasury career staff has estimated that the administration's tax compliance initiatives would raise $700 billion in revenue over the course of a decade. Some of the commissioners who contributed to this op-ed estimated the possibility of them raising twice as much. $1.4 trillion. Now, to be fair, there are critics who say, yeah, both of those numbers are a complete pipe dream. These initiatives are not going to work. But I want to ask you your take on these initiatives, and what would a revenue boost like that mean for the IRS and for American taxpayers?
Yes, ma'am. The tax gap, that's how we talk about it, is around $500 billion a year, and it's growing. $500 billion is more than the total taxes paid by 90% of Americans. It is a giant issue. Meanwhile, you have this time where there is such bipartisan consensus, whether you're talking about roads and bridges and quality of water, or whether you're talking about reducing child poverty by 50%, this country wants to get these things done, but you gotta pay for it. And when you're looking at $500 billion a year uncollected from folks who owe it, that's the right place to start. First, of course, it's a matter of money. And I'm one of those who thinks, if anything, the $1.4 trillion estimate is conservative. It's also a matter of fairness. Working men and women pay their fair share. They got wage withholding, they got interest and dividend reporting. So working men and women are doing what's right. It is only fair to them, and it's only fair to everyone who pays what they owe, that we start by going after those that haven't been paying. There's a way to do it. It's not a question of can it be done. It's a question of will it be done. There are 3 components. There's information, additional information to let the IRS do a better job. There is technology that enables the IRS to do its work today that it couldn't have done now 10 years ago. And the IRS workforce is terrific. They got terrific folks who are already starting to try to do it. But they need funding, and they need permanent funding. Every one of us who's been an IRS commissioner has lived in a world of feast and famine. Oh, go hire 500 folks this year. Well, by the way, for the next 4 years, you got to cut people. You can't run anything that way, and you certainly can't run anything as complex as the IRS. With this proposal, information, technology, stable long-term funding, it's going to make a huge dent in the tax cap. But equally important, maybe in some ways more important, is the American workers, taxpayers, have the right to expect quality service. They want their questions answered. They want their problems resolved. In this same investment, the money for information, the technology, and the stability of the funding means you can do both, and you should do both. And again, can you? Yes, ma'am, this can be done. Will it? I guess we'll find out.
Wow. Well, you write about these three key ways that changes to the IRS would be accomplished through the president's tax plan. Could you just break that down for our viewers?
Sure. Right now, the IRS gets lots of information returns. They get more than $3 billion a year of returns. Like if you get a W-2, if you get a 1099 for your interest or your dividends, you get a broker reporting, a 1099-B for you buy or sell stock. But there's a hole in that system. Where there is information reporting, compliance is higher than 90%. Where there's no reporting, the compliance may make it to 50%, people paying what they owe. The whole purpose of this proposal is to fill that hole so that the IRS has a broader array of information so that it can do a better and more effective job of identifying taxpayers who are properly subject to examination. But most important, the fact of the information reporting itself is what makes it easier for taxpayers to comply. It gives them an additional incentive to comply because they know that that information is going to the IRS. Our estimate is that close to 70% of the revenue to be generated is simply the fact of these information returns going out. The IRS is already getting $3.5 billion of these things. This is an addition. It's information the taxpayer already has. And it's essentially no burden, in our judgment, on either those doing the reporting or those individuals and their tax preparers receiving that information. The second component is technology. Well, technology permits the analytics to use this data, and the stable funding permits it to get it done. I'm sorry.
No, continue. We want to hear the rest of that.
No, that's it. That's it. It's real basic.
That's it.
Information, technology, and money. Sort of sounds like life, I guess. But
it sort of does.
It really
Listen,
does.
I got to tell you something, Fred Goldberg. I think probably like the second paragraph into your op-ed, I actually felt something for the IRS that I don't think I've ever felt, which is compassion. It also explained why I was on hold for 40 minutes to get an answer to my tax question. I get it now. Also, you called me ma'am, and I don't know how I feel about that, sir, but I will take it. I'm glad you.
But you know, it's interesting. There are people responding right now, Fred, that are watching our interview live, and they do have concerns. Somebody just posited on Twitter as they're watching you break this down, suggesting that it's already been difficult for the IRS to process last year's returns. We got that extension, which of course a lot of people needed. But Anne-Marie's experience of waiting for 40 minutes to get an answer to a simple question. I mean, the question is, I guess people are a little skeptical.
Good. They should be skeptical. Anybody who tells you this is easy is a liar or a fool. It's hard, and it's going to take time. And if the question is it doable? The answer is yes. Does the IRS have a commitment to its core to get it done? Yes. Do they make mistakes? For sure. And 40 minutes, count yourself lucky. It could be hours. It can take 7 months to resolve a simple little correspondence issue. But if you underinvest in an institution for 10 years, that's a consequence. Another consequence is if the institution doesn't change how it does business as the world changes. These are huge challenges, but the upside is immense. Both the revenue to pay for roads, bridges, water, reducing childhood poverty, whatever your thing is, but it's also improving service. Is this a fantasy? I don't think so. And I don't think there's any choice. And it's going to require the IRS to do a better job. It's going to require Congress to provide rigorous oversight, Treasury to provide rigorous oversight. It's setting goals and measuring the performance. But if you're living day to day, family lives paycheck to paycheck, if the IRS or any other government agencies living year to year with uncertainty, it doesn't work like it should. But this is such a terrific time to accomplish these kind of objectives. And it's way overdue to make this kind of investment in the IRS. And it's going to happen. That's my guess. That's my hope. That's my belief.
Fred Goldberg, I encourage people to check out the op-ed that you contributed to in the Washington Post. Title 5, former IRS commissioners, Biden's proposal would create a fairer tax system. And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It is clear that you're very passionate about taxes and the IRS, and we appreciate it.
I'm passionate about making this work. Thank you. I appreciate your time.